Daniel from Wolverhampton Music Service, and in this video I'll be looking at the Grade 3 clarinet piece, Self-Employment Blues. Now this is a great piece to learn for Grade 3, not least because it is all in the low register. It's quite slow, a lot of it's very smooth, and it is just an attractive piece and enjoyable to play. Now the first thing to notice about this piece is the style and the tempo. The style says slow blues with a tempo of 72 beats per minute. Now actually 72 is rather slow for this piece, and it is usually performed in exams a little faster than that. You can go even as fast as 88 beats or 90 beats per minute. And to measure that, you just need to get yourself a physical metronome or a metronome app, and then it's very easy to measure those different speeds and set the right speed for yourself. Now once you've set your tempo, the next thing to look at is, of course, the style of the rhythm. And it's a blues piece, and you'll see at the top of the music the indication of swing rhythm, which is where you have two quavers equaling crotchet and quaver, so 2/3 and 1/3. So we have that swing rhythm feel. So I'll just demonstrate that by playing the first two bars. So when you're playing this piece and you've got that sense of swing rhythm, the most important thing really to go with that now is that you have a sense of pulse all the way through, that steady sense of pulse, what we call an underlying pulse. You can't hear it, but it is there. So you can help yourself by get that by actually using your metronome when you're practicing. And I'll be playing the first half of the piece in a moment with a metronome to help you get the idea of that pulse. So in the first half of the piece, think about the repeated rhythm. One in the first bar is also repeated in many other bars in the first half of the piece. Also the slur that is over one bar of notes, so it must be nice and smooth for each bar. Just a few accents appearing a bit later on in the first half. So I'm going to now play that first half of the piece, set the metronome as well, so I'll play it with a metronome, and this will be at the tempo of crotchet equals 88. The second half of the piece is quite different in rhythm much of the time, where there are a lot more crotchets and a lot of accents which emphasize each beat. So I'm going to play the second half of the piece with a metronome just to help get that feel of the beat all the way through. And also don't forget those two staccato crotchets in the very last phrase of the second half of the piece, on the B flat and the A. Staccato crotchets are played a bit like a quaver with a quaver rest, so there's a bit of a gap in between the notes. So if I just play the last 4 bars again to show that phrase. Now you can take the piece a little slower than that if you wish, but I wouldn't go too much slower, and also I wouldn't go any faster than the speed I've just played. So I'm now going to play with a metronome the whole of the piece, and of course it has to go back to the beginning once you've got to the DC al fine at the end, back to the beginning and finish where it says fine at the end of the 3rd line. So a couple of bars of the metronome before we begin, and don't forget that the opening 2 lines are a bit quieter, mezzo piano MP, so it gets louder as you go through the piece and then quieter again when we return to the beginning. So quite a lot to think about in that piece, but I hope you enjoy learning it. It's a really enjoyable piece, I think, to play. And don't forget also to look for further video releases from the Wolverhampton Music Service. Thank you.